Well,
The whole
state. The whole state was given an August 15th layoff as well, which means that they could have done it both ways. Most districts, to be safe, to be fiscally sound, to be fiscally responsible, and you have that in your board packet 5.4, commitment for fiscal solvency, did the layoffs in March 15th.
We didn't need to do layoffs though. See, through attrition, you have retirements, you have people who move, and we have temporary contracts. Some districts don't have that option, so they have to resort to layoffs. We had 20 teachers that we are no longer in our district because of those other.
But going to that statement, Dr. Kennedy, that you said that we had the right number of teachers. The facts of the case are that because of lower enrollment, because of declining enrollment, you had too many teachers. And there we go back, and this is what, like I said, I'm not making this up. This is what the paper says, classroom teachers. We have overstaffed classroom teachers. This is, this isn't my narrative. This is the district's narrative. So what I'm saying is that regardless of the excuse that we have, the fact of the matter is there was 0 layoffs in March 15th, and the district was overstaffed in when they started school. And as Dr. Wallace stated, we then developed more kids coming in. And the C-beds also has improved all the way up to October. We have had more students coming in. But when we needed to fund the numbers and have the numbers, we were overstaffed.
There are actually
so because
other issues in there though, David. That's a little oversimplistic because negotiations was in there, so it's...
And my point exactly. Even with negotiations that wasn't settled, the district chose, because we had no idea what negotiations are going on, the district still chose on the March 15th pink slip to give, as Craig said, 0.
I think Mr. Boehner has it.
Go ahead, sorry,
Mr. Boehner, you made mention that other districts gave in March, but the reality was that AB 42 was passed right after the budget was passed by Brown. AB 42 said all pink slips had to be rescinded, all of them had to be rescinded, all those teachers were given their jobs back in every district in California. So it wouldn't have made any difference anyway, David. So I'm asking you, what is your point?
No, well,
I'm asking you, what is your point about this statement right here in this interim report? I don't hear the point.
the point is, sir, is that, let me show you the point. Maybe, that's the point. That's the point, Winchell. That's the point. And may I speak?
That's not due to overspending or not cutting back. It's based on the fact we're getting a lot less money than we anticipated every year. And once we get the money that we actually get, which is a lot less than what we were told we were going to get, it's a little bit hard to go back and make changes 6 months before.
You're right, and Wendell, thank you. That is the comment, that exactly what I'm trying to shoot for, is why we are in the position we're in, sir. We're trying to make excuses for why we are deficit spending for the last 3 years. Why we have completely depleted our accounts.
So am I hearing you say you want massive layoffs of teachers?
What I am saying,
Sorry, how much time I got left?
what I am saying, sir, member of the board, what I'm saying is to complete, 5 minutes, it's completely to be fiscally solvent. And what would think fiscally solvent means, Mr. Boehner, is that we, as a district, stop deficit spending and get our house in order. And why I mean by that, and the point that I'm making is, currently, or previously, we had the county superintendent, Ken Young, overseeing, having veto privilege for our budget. We had fiscal advisor over our budget, over our school. What we are saying as a community, what we are saying as teachers, and what we are saying as members of our association, please, board members, that comment of trying to make excuses for that slide, that has to stop. We have to continue to deficit
I ask
spend.
you again, what is your answer?
My answer or my point? You said both.
Well, I mean, your point's got to be what your solution is.
Okay, we talked about solutions, and maybe you missed that.
No, I didn't miss it.
Okay, these are some of the things that we're talking about.
That doesn't even come close to what we're talking about in terms of dollars.
I can't really you're answering perfectly for what we're trying to say and why the position that this district is in for that. And I can't really, I need to save my 5 minutes if I may,
Right.
but we need to
Because
try.
we're bordering on negotiating. a little
Exactly,
bit.
so
I'd
I'm
like
gonna-
to just-
exactly.
If you could close down, you have 4
Right.
minutes, please.
Now, the next thing is that one of the things that happened is when we had to do the overstaffing, the schools got dismantled. And what I mean by the schools got dismantled is that teachers in July and in August were told to go to other schools. The Nicollet and Coombs both had to increase class size, take the teachers off of those classrooms, schools, and move to the elementary schools for 20 to 1. The reason they did that is to try to save some money in CSR. Can I have a little bit more time because Banger was...
No, you're fine.
Okay. Okay, so another thing.
Larry will let you know.
I'll let you.
Okay, so what we had and what we talked about, the schools, all the schools have been changed because of the overstaffing and the reasons why we had to keep the employees that we had to. And class size at the high school is a big issue. And if we want to put that on an agenda or on a forum or on a discussion group so we could talk about class size at the high school to start that communication, we would love that. QUIA. Now, this is what challenges me, and I don't really understand it. I really haven't been involved in the QUIA department. Yvonne has more knowledge than I do. The QUIA, Coombs and Nicollet receives money to keep the class size low. The reason why they kept the class size low is for students. That's what we cared about, students. Students API, because of QUIA, grew, and almost at 800, where the standard is of success in this state, ladies and gentlemen. Coombs did a fantastic job and has done. But what has happened? QUIA monies, QUIA dollars, that was to keep those class size level and small, they got rid of that. They kept the money, and Dr. Wallace, please interject. They kept the money of roughly $1.2 million to continue the class size for Coombs and Nicollet, took the money, raised the class size up. That's what happened for the QUIA. We would also like QUIA to be put on an agenda item.
Larry, what's the time?
Now, we're running out of time, and I want to move to the last part of positive. I've said enough. And what we need to do now is moving forward. We need positive attitude, communication, and respect. And how band and unified moving forward together, how we're going to do that and what I want. And yes, I said some things tonight that are a little bit difficult to swallow. But the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, we're deficit spending and we have to stop. The trend from Paul continues to decline and decline and decline until we're broke. What we would like to do is we want to be involved. We want to be involved and we want the BRAC to start. And that's the Budget Review Advisory Committee. And what that is a group of teachers, a group of CSEA members, the community, the cabinet, and everybody getting to this level. The next one is strategic plan. David Sanchez brought that up. Then we talked about class size discussions. Then we wanted QUIA discussions and ADA forum because we want to try to go with that interim report and say what incentives we're going to try to do. And all stakeholder discussion groups. We would like to start again the BTA Executive Board and Cabinet meetings. And lastly, we would like BTA to be put on a regular item agenda so we could communicate, so that we can share. With 10 seconds left, I hope that I've tried to do as much as I can. I will take questions if you want to give me some more. But really, what the end of the day, we need to work together and come together.
Thank you. In closing and kind of just going back, appreciate your time on that. In the future, I would like to have some knowledge of presentations from BTA at the CSCA so I could help kind of structure how we're going to go on, because I was kind of blinded here a little bit, and 15 minutes in reality that wasn't a real good number, because we do encourage dialogue, but it has to have a time frame. So I appreciate your time and energy involved in this, and next time, Superintendent and the board